My husband hit me at a charity gala. 200 guests on the other side of the wall, and he slapped me in a hallway where no one could see. Then he walked back in, picked up his drink, and kept smiling.
I was just laughing with someone at the bar. One of his donors was telling me about his daughter, and I was smiling. That was enough.
Are you trying to embarrass me? Laughing with some guy like a cheap whore at my event in front of 200 people?
He's a donor. He was telling me about his foundation. That's all. Grant, I was just talking.
No career, no name, no roof over your head. Nothing.
That was a Tuesday. Just a regular fundraiser. And the worst part is, I didn't even cry. I just got up and walked. 4 years of marriage, and I'd learned to take it without making a sound.
I met Grant Ellison when I was 27, second year of surgical residency, 80-hour weeks, coffee for dinner, and I thought I had my whole life figured out.
He sat down at my table like we'd known each other for years. Handsome, confident, white shirt with the sleeves rolled up.
I hadn't slept in 30 hours. My hands still smelled like surgical gloves, and he made me laugh in 30 seconds. I should have stopped right there. Grant was running for Congress that year. Young, handsome, the whole city loved him. And he chose me.
A girl from nowhere, with student loans and 12-hour shifts. I couldn't believe it.
We got married 4 months later. I thought it was a fairy tale. I didn't realize I was just a prop in his campaign photos. The first year, he just stopped coming home at night. Sometimes 2 days in a row, sometimes 3. He told me never to call. If I need something, text the assistant. He'd make jokes about me in front of guests, always with a smile, always light, so everyone would think it was just a little teasing.
Annabel is a wonderful surgeon. Too bad she spends more time in the kitchen than in the OR. But hey, works out great for me.
And then came Megan.
Oh, Annabel. This is Megan, my new press secretary. Megan, this is my wife.
So nice to meet you. Grant's told me so much about you. He hadn't. I could see it in her eyes. She didn't even know my name, but she was already looking at me the way you look at something that's about to be thrown out.
A month later, I found her earring in our bedroom.
2 months later, she was having dinner at my table while I was on call. Oh, hi. Grant said you'd be late. We were just doing some work. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw that earring in his face and ask, "Why are you doing this to me?" But I knew the answer. Because he could.
I thought it couldn't get worse. I thought if I stayed quiet and stayed out of the way, he'd at least let me keep what little I had.
But I was wrong. He filed for divorce without even talking to me. Just left an envelope on the kitchen table. I stood there barefoot on the cold tile, reading the words, "Dissolution of marriage." And all I could think was, is this really how 4 years end? On a Wednesday morning, while the coffee gets cold?
Grant, what is this?
You can read, Annabel. It's exactly what you think it is.
4 years, and you can't even say it to my face? I come down to the kitchen and there's an envelope?
Don't make this complicated. Sign it, and we go our separate ways. The lawyer will explain everything.
Why?
Because I don't need you anymore, Annabel. The house, the car, the accounts, all mine. You know that. Don't drag this out.
Three days later, I found out the envelope wasn't the beginning. It was the end. He'd been planning this for a long time, carefully, the way you plan a campaign. Every step calculated, every door closed in advance, so I'd have nowhere to go. When I showed up at the clinic on Monday, they called me into the chief's office and told me my position had been eliminated. He talked for a long time, choosing his words carefully. Something about restructuring and staff optimization. But I could tell he was lying. I sent my resume to every clinic within 50 miles. They all wrote back quickly and politely. Unfortunately, the position has been filled. By the end of the second week, I knew it wasn't a coincidence. My husband had closed every door. When I came to pick up the last of my things, Megan's car was in the driveway. A white SUV with a monogrammed keychain on the mirror. I walked up to the porch and she opened the door. In my robe, holding my coffee mug. Oh, Annabel. Grant said you'd be stopping by. Your boxes are in the garage. He asked me to make sure you don't take too long. She stood in the doorway of my house, in my robe, making sure I didn't linger. And the most humiliating part? I didn't. I packed up quietly, quickly, without a word. Like a thief caught in the act, allowed to leave out of pity. I called 4 friends in 2 days. None of them picked up. A congressman's wife and a congressman's ex-wife are 2 very different people in the eyes of those who calculate which side is worth standing on. That first night in the motel, I didn't sleep. I lay in the dark, trying to understand how, in one morning, I went from being a surgeon, a wife, a person with a home and a phone full of names, to a woman with nowhere to go and no one to call. For 2 months I looked for work, got up at 7, sat down on my laptop, sent letters, made calls, drove to interviews in neighboring towns. By the end of the second month, the money was almost gone. I was sitting in the motel one evening, scrolling through job listings, and somewhere on the 3rd page, I saw an ad that looked like a joke. Small hospital, 300 miles from the city, surgeon needed. The salary was less than I used to spend on groceries in a week. I called, and the woman's voice on the other end said, "When can you get here?" And I realized it was the first yes I'd heard in 2 months. The town was small, the kind where everyone knows everyone and nothing ever happens. The hospital looked like the last renovation was done under the previous president. But when I got out of the car and saw the sign, something shifted inside me. Not joy, no, more like relief. Like I'd been running for a very long time and finally stopped. You the surgeon from the city? You sounded older on the phone. Annabel Murray. I called last night. Murray. All right, Murray. Scrubs in the closet at the end of the hall, 3rd shelf. Lunch is at noon, the coffee's terrible, but it's all we've got. Any questions? No questions? Good. There's plenty of work and not enough hands. I rented a room above the hardware store across the street from the hospital. A bed, a desk, a chair, and a view of the parking lot. In the evenings, it was so quiet I could hear the traffic light changing at the intersection.
Annabel, I need your signature on last year's tax return. It's urgent, needs to be at the accountant's by Friday.
Okay.
And going forward, don't call me directly. Use the lawyer for everything. Text me the address.
He didn't ask where I was. Didn't ask how I was doing or whether I'd found work. You did that old man's knee in Ward 2 in 40 minutes today. The last surgeon we had took an hour and a half, and the result was mediocre at best. None of my business why you ended up here. But I've been in surgery for 30 years and I've seen all kinds. You've got golden hands. And that's not a compliment, it's a fact. Rita said it between sips of coffee, in the same voice she uses to say, "The IV in Ward 3 is leaking." But that sentence, tossed out casually on the porch of a rundown hospital in the middle of nowhere, was the first kind thing anyone had said to me in 6 months. And for the first time I thought, maybe he was lying. Maybe I am worth something. And 4 years with a man who told me otherwise every single day didn't make it true. Maybe I am worth something, and 4 years with a man who told me otherwise every single day didn't make it true.
I stood there against the wall and thought just one thing. These are the same hands my ex-husband spent 4 years playing doctor.
I'd been working at the hospital for about 6 weeks, and life had turned into a schedule. Wake up, coffee, scrubs, patients, evening, silence. And then came Thursday, and everything changed.
Hey, help! There's a man in my truck, he's bleeding out. We were hunting, he fell off a cliff. I don't know what to do.
Weak pulse. Rita, the OR.
Ready. Basic instruments, you know what we've got. When did he lose consciousness?
5 minutes ago, maybe 7. He was still talking in the car, and then he just went quiet.
I need every light we have, every clamp, and no one in the room but you and me. I worked for 40 minutes.
When I heard his pulse stabilize, I took off my gloves and walked out into the hallway. And I realized I was still standing.
Please tell me this isn't the last thing I'll ever see. My garage has a fresher renovation than this room.
This is the hospital that saved your life yesterday. Don't move, the stitches are fresh.
So that's what we're calling this place. A hospital.
You can insult the decor after you stop trying to tear yourself open.
That sounds like something I'd do. I'd like to object, but apparently I'm busy surviving.
You lost a lot of time, Coleman. Try not to spend the rest of it arguing with furniture.
Furniture started it.
Then I'll note it as furniture-related trauma.
Finally. A diagnosis I can respect.
Your numbers are better. That does not mean you get to test them.
So if I promise not to test anything, do I get to know whether I'm dying?
Not today, but you came close enough that I need you to take that seriously.
Yeah, I'm starting to get that.
Good. Then your job today is to stay boring.
That may be the first prescription I can actually follow.
Good. I'll be back in an hour.
He stayed 4 days and never once complained. Not about the bed, the food, or the hot water running out at 6 in the evening. And he never asked again why I was here. He just lay there, read, talked to me when I came in, and every time listened to my answer all the way through. Something my ex-husband hadn't done once in 4 years. On the 4th day, I came in with discharge papers, and he was gone. A note on the nightstand. I owe you, and I don't forget my debts. And a business card. I put the card in my pocket. I didn't need debtors or business cards. I just needed to get through my shift and make it to tomorrow.
Decent coffee. The stuff you have here is undrinkable, and I can confirm that from personal experience.
Did you get the stitches out?
In the city, the surgeon said the work was flawless, and he'd love to meet whoever did it. I told him, a doctor in a small hospital that doesn't have a working x-ray machine.
Mr. Coleman, why are you here?
Because I did some digging. Because a surgeon of your caliber doesn't end up in a hospital like this by accident. And because I don't like what I found out. You don't have to tell me anything, but if you ever decide to, you have my number.
Thank you for coming, but I really don't need help.
Understood. I'll leave the coffee. Annabel, you saved my life in 40 minutes with instruments that belong in a museum. I won't forget that.
3 days after his visit, a box showed up at the front desk. Inside was a coffee machine, expensive, the kind you see in nice restaurants, and a note on a piece of cardboard for the hospital. Murray, this machine costs more than my car.
It's a gift for the hospital. For the hospital, sure.
I told myself it was just gratitude. A rich man whose life was saved, sending a gift. I almost believed it, until the following Friday.
I was just passing through. Thought I'd check if the machine works.
Mr. Coleman, there isn't a single real road for miles around here. You can't pass through this town. It's physically impossible.
Fine. I drove 300 miles to ask you to dinner. The machine was my backup plan in case you said no.
I'm not in a place where dinner with a stranger sounds like a good idea. I appreciate everything you've done, I really do.
But I can't right now.
Then just coffee. Right here, on this porch, from the machine I brought. 10 minutes. If it's unbearable, I'll leave and never come back.
10 minutes. We sat on that porch for 2 hours. He told me about the hunting trip, about his friend panicking and missing the turn to the hospital twice, about his business, casually, without bragging, as if owning a media empire were roughly the same as running a repair shop. And in 2 hours, he didn't once ask about my ex-husband, the divorce, or why I was here. He just talked to me, and I suddenly realized I couldn't remember the last time someone had talked to me like that, with no agenda, no purpose, just because he was genuinely interested in what I had to say. He came back the next week, and the week after that. Every time without warning, every time with some excuse. Once he brought a book he'd mentioned. Another time he said his scar was itching and he wanted me to take a look.
The scar had healed weeks ago, and we both knew it. But every Friday, his car appeared in the parking lot.
I figured a surgeon who's been on her since 7 in the morning should at least have a proper lunch.
You drove 300 miles to bring me lunch?
280, I counted.
Chase, why are you doing all this? The coffee, the books, the lunches. You don't owe me anything.
Annabel, I stopped coming here because of a debt about 2 weeks in. I thought that was fairly obvious.
I need time.
I have time.
He kissed me on the 6th week. We were standing by his car. I said something silly. He laughed. I laughed.
And then he went quiet and looked at me. And I didn't step back. I didn't know that at the same time, on the other side of the state, my ex-husband said my name for the first time in 6 months. Grant, we have a problem. Look.
What problem?
Annabel. Someone forwarded me a photo from some small clinic's charity report. Annabel in scrubs, some guy beside her. I wouldn't have noticed, but the guy is Chase Coleman.
Chase Coleman and Annabel. At that clinic.
It might be nothing, but if the press connects her to Coleman and remembers she's your ex 6 months before the election, we don't need that.
It's nothing. She works at a hospital, he was probably a patient. Annabel isn't the type to attract men like that.
If you say so. I warned you.
What do you mean they were at dinner together? Where? When? Who saw this? Get me details. Everything you can, and not from the call people who actually know Coleman. Coleman mentioned her in an interview.
What?
Some podcast. They asked him if anything had changed his perspective on life recently.
And
he said, "A woman saved my life, and she deserves far better than what she has." Didn't name her, but any journalist with half a brain will connect the dots in 5 minutes.
Grant, you need to talk to her. Now, before this goes public.
Talk to her about what? She spent 6 months sitting in some hole, and now suddenly, Chase Coleman? She's not picking up.
Maybe she's busy.
Annabel always picked up. Always. In 4 years, she never once declined my call.
He called 3 times that week. I saw his name on the screen and hit decline every time.
The first time, I was scared.
The second, it felt unpleasant.
The third time, I felt nothing at all. And that was wonderful.
Three months since Chase came into my life. About 6 months since I left Washington. One evening, he told me his foundation's annual gala was coming up in 2 weeks. Big event. Sponsors, politicians, press. He wanted me to come with him. As his date.
Chase, I haven't been to a single event in 6 months. I don't even have a decent dress.
That's the most solvable problem I've heard in the past year.
There'll be people from Washington there. Grant might be there.
So? Annabel, you've spent 6 months hiding from everything because one person decided you don't deserve to be seen. I think that's enough.
Okay.
A week later, a courier brought me a box. Big, white, tied with a ribbon. Inside was a dress, emerald silk, the kind I would never have bought for myself, not even in my old life. And underneath it, in a velvet case, a necklace. And a note. For the woman who saves people. I put it on the night of the gala and looked in the mirror. And for the first time in 6 months, I saw someone new. The ballroom was enormous. Chandeliers, live music, 300 people. The Coleman Foundation Gala, one of those events where everyone who wants to be seen shows up. When we walked in, heads started turning. Not for me, for him. But I was walking beside him, and for the first time, I didn't want to be invisible. Grant was there too. He was standing by the stage with Megan, talking to someone when we walked in. He hadn't seen us yet.
Good evening. Thanks for being here. Every year I get up on this stage and try to say something smart about philanthropy, and every year my press secretary tells me I made an inappropriate joke. So this year, short and sweet. The Coleman Foundation opened 14 medical programs in small towns this year. Not in New York, not in DC, in places where there's one hospital for 100 miles and one doctor for the whole county. I'd explain why that matters, but recently I ended up in one of those hospitals myself, and I got a very hands-on demonstration. Enjoy the evening. Bar's open, the food is excellent, and if anyone wants to say a few words, the mic is yours. Thank you, Chase, for a wonderful evening, and for your generosity. Not everyone is willing to invest where no one's watching. If you'll indulge me, we have an important choice coming in 6 months. And I'd like to say a few words, not as a politician, but as a person.
I sat in the audience and listened to the man who threw me out of his life with an envelope on the kitchen table talk to 300 people about loyalty and responsibility.
I've always believed that a man is defined by his actions, not by what he promises, but by what he actually does without masks. Without masks. Just the truth. Thank you.
Grant, are you okay? What happened up there?
Annabel's here, with Coleman.
Maybe just ignore it?
She's sitting at his table, at an event where I'm a guest. Do you understand how that looks?
Grant, don't...
I don't care how it looks. Chase, lovely evening. Thanks for the invitation. Glad you could make it, Mr. Ellison. Annabel, didn't expect to see you here.
Good evening, Grant.
You look great. That little hospital must be treating you well.
Thank you.
Can I have a word? In private.
Whatever you want to say it here.
Annabel, don't make this difficult. I think she made herself clear, Mr. Ellison. I don't know what game you're playing, but you clearly don't understand the consequences. You think he's going to protect you?
I don't need protection, Grant.
You've always needed protection. Without me, you wouldn't have lasted a year.
I lasted 6 months. Without a house, without money, without a job. Because you made sure I had nothing.
I made sure that you...
That I what? Go on, finish. We're all friends here.
You'll regret this.
No. The only thing I regret is the 4 years I spent believing you. You said I was nobody without you. That I was playing doctor. That I was lucky you married me.
Annabel, shut up.
But in the hospital you sent me to, I saved a man's life, in conditions where a normal surgeon wouldn't even try. So no, Grant, I won't shut up, and I don't care what you think.
Mr. Ellison, you're standing in my ballroom, at my event, talking to my date. I'd choose my next words very carefully. Is that a threat? It's advice. A threat is when I ask my news department to run a story about a congressman who hits his wife at galas and uses his connections to destroy her career. For now, it's just advice. Smile and walk away.
Grant, let's go. Let's just go. Thank you.
Don't mention it. You did it all yourself.
I think I need a glass of wine.
You've earned it.
A week later, the news said Congressman Grant Ellison had withdrawn his candidacy for personal reasons. I saw it in the morning over coffee, changed the channel, and finished my cup. Megan left him that same month. Rita found it in some tabloid and thought I'd want to know.
When I was lying in that hospital staring at the stains on the ceiling, I didn't think that 6 months later I'd be standing on this porch every Friday.
My ex-husband used to say that without him, I was nobody. That without his name, his connections, and his money, I was worth nothing. For 4 years, I believed him. And then I moved to a town that's not on any map and became what I always was, a doctor who saves lives. I didn't need his name. I just needed someone to stop getting in the way. He said, "Without me, you're nobody." Turns out, without him, I finally became myself.